going to show you a very quick little tutorial on how to make what I call leaf mold wings, which look like that. By the way, if you can see this thing, I had to microphone myself because the mic built into my computer stinks. So I'm just going to buzz through the actual wing construction because there's a lot of different tutorials on how to do these kind of wings that I'll link some down here. So basically you're going to have a chunk of wire. This is fence wire. And then you're going to have some nylons. And this works really well for itty-bitty little wings and just chunks of nylon. This was one where I used the actual toe part for like a regular big pair of wings. But you guys will see in a little bit why this comes in handy. You're also going to need some tape and then whatever kind of decoration you want for this. So you're going to take the wire and you're going to slip the nylons over it. Now, since this is open on both ends, you can see, open both ends, I'm going to kind of curve it and push the tip of the wing up into the midsection. So now this is an open end and this is an open end. I'm going to gather those two down at the bottom, grab hold of the wire on the top, and really pull it really tightly. Okay, so now it's all gathered here. This is just flat and it's held very taut. So then I'm going to take a piece of tape. I'm just using electrical tape. I find it holds together pretty well to keep the wings in place. So I'm just going to wrap it around the bottom where that little spoke of wire was. And this would be the area, if you were making a pair of these to wear on your back, this is where the two wings would be joined together, is right here. So normally I would then cut off all this excess, but since this is just a tutorial, I'm not gonna. So then, assuming you're old enough to operate a lighter and an incense stick, you're going to light up an incense stick, and this might take a minute because I use this like a lot already, and when you do that, the incense doesn't want to light anymore because the nylon gets stuck to it. So light it up, let it get glowy, and then blow it out. And then you're going to use this to poke holes in this in a well-ventilated area, please. And you guys will be able to see when I do this how it makes a hole and a run. Okay, and that's because I'm using the tights stretched horizontally instead of vertically like when you normally do wings. So if you're doing this on a great big pair of wings and you're doing the thing where the toe section of the tight is at the tip of the wing, it's not going to work out quite so well. You're not going to get the runs, but you are going to get the holes. And you can see this is stretched so tightly, I really don't have to do much more than just barely touch the incense stick to it. So you're just going to keep doing this and making the holes different sizes. You can make them different sizes by just holding the incense stick there for longer. And you do want to do down into the bottom. You don't need to do this whole bottom area because a lot of this is going to end up being covered by ribbons or flowers or whatever. And you also don't want to do too much around the edge of the wire right here because it can really weaken the structure of the whole wing. So once you've done that, you can stub out your incense stick, unless you want to freshen up your room. I don't want the smoke on the camera, so I'm going to blow that out. Okay. So you've got this, and what I like to do is to take and kind of stretch the wing shape out a little bit to make sure that this is still held pretty tightly. And then I go in and I kind of move the nylons around a little bit. And what that does is it makes it so the holes don't entirely line up anymore. So I like that look because it makes it look more tattered, but you can skip that bit if you like the look of just having the holes lined up on both sides. Okay, so this is the basic, the whole thing. You can see the wire is going to be more exposed than on a normal pair of wings, so if you don't want the wire to show, you need to wrap it before you do anything with the tights. Floral tape works really good, and it comes in like green and white and probably brown. At this point, you can decorate it. Now, on the ones for my headdress, I brushed them in glitter. You guys can see that. I like the glitter because it'll stick to the little bitty threads, and it ends up looking kind of like cobwebs. When I do glitter, I usually just get this kind of stuff with the craft paint at the craft store. This is Folk Art Extreme Glitter in Peridot. Ooh. You can also use this type of like glitter glue. This works really good if you just want to do dots because it's very thick. It takes a little while to dry, and it's not real easy to brush on, but it'll still work. You can also do watered down Elmer's glue and then loose glitter over the top of it. You can use this type of fabric paint. Again, this is really good for doing dots or swirls or anything like that. Swirly designs are not going to be your friend with this particular thing. So, what else? You can also use textile medium, which is going to be found with the craft paint again at the craft store. I would grab mine, but it's way over that way. It looks like a little thing of paint, and it'll say textile medium on it, and you can mix that with just about anything powdery that you can think of. So glitter, pigment powders like these work really nicely for that. And since you're controlling the amount of textile medium to the amount of powder that you're using, you can make it a very sheer kind of wash of color, or you can make it really, really pigmented. So that's fun. And then the last thing I have, you guys can see I made this ahead of time. So this is like a child size wing that I did in that way, and it turned out really cool. I really like it. This side is the side that I gave to my daughter to paint. She's going to be 3, so don't knock her technique, right? Anyhow, what I want to show is there's this really cool stuff. It's my favorite new toy called Glossy Accents. Okay, I got this in the scrapbooking section at Joann Fabrics and Crafts. And basically what it is a very thick dimensional embellishment. It says it right on there. It dries clear, and you can use that to seal things and make them look glossy. You can use. I use it when I make jewelry and things. It gives a look of resin without having to go through all the hassle of mixing the resin and stuff. I believe this is non-yellowing too, just for those of you who want to wear it on, or wear it on paper, use it on paper. But what I like is to put little tiny dots of it. You can see that. It's going to show up. Itty bitty little dots of it on the edges of wings and on flowers, because it ends up looking like dewdrops. And you can see this is dry. I did this about maybe 20 minutes ago, and it's totally dry. It didn't spread out. That's the size of the dots I put on. It won't come off, and I think it looks very cool. So, there you have it. Obviously, you can also just use watered down craft paint to tint the wings if you don't want them to be white. I personally think this would be extremely cool if you did 2 layers of tights, with the first one maybe being brown and the second one being white or green or something like that, so that when you move the nylons apart, then the colors overlap back and forth. That could be neat. Maybe I'll try it, huh? So, till next time, I hope to see some really kickin' fairy wings, you know, whatever, and we'll see. We'll do a good fairy goodbye. Ta-ta for now!